What's going on, football fans? Welcome back to Pound for Pound. I'm your host, J.R. Clark, and if you're new to this channel, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button and, ring that bell so that you can get the notifications when we put out a video or when we do a live stream. If you're a returning viewer to this channel, hey, I very much appreciate it. And I will always encourage you all to like, share, and comment. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all have noticed in the last couple days, last couple weeks that we've been doing a few more live streams, and that's something that me and Toby are going to do as this season progresses. We're going to do them every Tuesday following a Sunday game, and we're going to do them on Fridays following a Thursday game. Okay, so just kind of keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye on the channel. We're going to try to do them around 7, 8 o'clock at night. But that can change. This last week we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so the stream didn't go nearly as long as we wanted to. But for the folks that did pop in that stream and communicate with us, getting in active in the chat, man, we really appreciate it. That's the reason why we decided to start doing these streams, is because we very much enjoy interacting with y'all during the live chats and stuff like that. So, keep an eye on the channel for those, because that's a lot of fun, and that's something that we're going to do throughout the season. Today, though, I wanted to record a short video because I had some thoughts that I didn't necessarily get out on the live stream and didn't necessarily get out on the podcast. Speaking of the podcast, episode 3 is out now. You can download that out on Stitcher, Spotify. I know you can get it on Google, and I'm working on getting it onto iTunes. So all you got to do is search Pound for Pound ATL, and it should come up. If you got a Google Home, you can even ask it to play Pound for Pound ATL podcast, and it'll do so. But, all right, well, let's jump into what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today is the NFC South and how the landscape is changing. And it had me thinking about when Julio Jones wore those Waffle House cleats, and somebody asked him what you got Waffle House cleats on, and you already knew what his answer was going to be. His answer is going to be, because I'm always open. We wonder why Waffle House even has a lock on the door, because they don't ever close, right? And that's kind of the way I feel about the NFC South this year. I feel like the NFC South is wide open. Now, it tends to be pretty wide open every year, but I feel like it's more so this year than it has been in the past. And you ask, why? I mean, obviously you probably know why. But with Drew Brees having that torn ligament in his thumb and being shut down for at least 6 weeks, starting this upcoming game, I feel like we got a real good chance to hold some ground if we do what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? If we handle our business, then by the time Brees gets back and gets reacclimated, we could have a pretty commanding lead. And I think that's something that we need to push for and definitely need to try to achieve. Now, also along with Drew Brees being out for at least 6 weeks, Cam Newton is dealing with some injuries himself. I believe I read it was like a foot injury that's probably going to keep him out on Sunday. And so that puts Will Grier in the hot seat. And at least through the first 2 weeks, Newton hasn't really looked all that good. He hasn't really looked all that accurate, and his performance itself has just been kind of subpar at best. So that right there kind of puts, our 2 biggest contenders in a holding pattern, in limbo, and gives us a chance to really catapult us in the standings in the NFC South, right? Because, what's the number one key to getting into the playoffs? Is winning your division, right? Why do you think the Patriots have done as well as they have? Their division has been crap the entire time Tom Brady has been there, except for twice with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez, Other than that, their division's been wide open the whole time. So they can almost sleepwalk into the playoffs every year. So that's a huge advantage. And that's something that we need to try to take a hold of this year with the misfortunes of two of the other teams in this division. Now you're going to say, well, JR, you haven't even begun to mention Tampa Bay yet. And you're right. I haven't mentioned Tampa Bay yet. Tampa Bay's got one win and is against Carolina right now. And it's really hard to tell what Carolina is at this moment, as it is hard to tell what anybody is at this moment. But so I'm not really holding that win in a very high regard. You see what I'm saying? And, Bruce Arians is still trying to figure out what he's got down there in Tampa Bay, in Jameis Winston, and in, whatever his defense is, so I don't expect a ton out of them this year. I definitely don't expect them to sniff the playoffs, right? So with that being said, our main two focus is on New Orleans and then on Carolina. So like Waffle House, man, I feel like the NFC South is open for business this year. That much is for sure. And if we can hit our stride and do the things that I feel like we can do, and we started to show against Philly on Sunday, and hopefully we continue against Indy on this coming Sunday, I feel like we could dominate this division and secure us a spot in the playoffs. Now, along with that, people are going to be all like, oh man, you shouldn't be like cheering on the misfortunes of other teams. And I'm definitely not by any stretch of the imagination. I don't like to see anybody injured. I said that on the podcast. But I seem to remember last year we lost the very middle of our defense, right? We lost like some severe defensive leaders, and I didn't see anybody trying to cut us any slack when we went 7-9, right? So I'm not about to cut them any slack either. That's just real right there. That's just the game. That's why you play the game. So we're gonna see if signing Teddy Bridgewater to the most, I think the highest paid backup in the league, if that bears any fruit this year. Because when he came in for Brees on Sunday against the Chargers, it didn't look like it was going to bear any fruit. He didn't look comfortable. Maybe he wasn't necessarily ready, with a week to prepare. Maybe he looks better this week, but he didn't look all that comfortable in that game. And I know what the Mainz fans are going to say. Oh man, it should have been closer with Cameron Jordan and all that jazz. Look, even if they kept it, you still would only scored 16 points, and you still would have lost that game. So y'all can keep your crying down there in the swamp, right? But so yeah, that was something that I was thinking about. That this could line up as a time where we really need to capitalize on this stuff as a team. We really need to handle our business, and which I feel like we can. I feel like you saw a mental and emotional turning point on Sunday that I hope continues to carry over, and I feel like it's gonna continue to carry over. But as always, that's what I got for you today. It's kind of short and simple. As these thoughts and these topics pop in my head, mine and Toby's heads, we're probably going to continue to try to do those, from week to week as well. I don't know if you saw on the live stream, but we have shirts now that you can order. Not this shirt, obviously, but shirts with the Pound for Pound logo on it. So if you're interested in that, I'll put a link down in the show notes, or down in the description rather. Again, you can find us on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128. Toby D is at TobyD1991. You can always hit us up there. We love to answer questions and interact with y'all. You can check us out on the podcast. That's our big new adventure right now. We would very, very much appreciate y'all taking a listen to that. It's a deeper dive. It's more lengthy conversation with me and Toby about the team. So yeah, give that a check. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.